The curse of transparency is a fragment of light without shadow. In a world stripped of its invisible curtain, deception crawls on the ground like a butterfly with its wings stripped off. The net woven in places beyond the reach of the eye loses its serenity and reveals its bare structure. Everything is exposed. The intentions lurking behind the words, the thoughts painted behind the actions. Having lost the art of concealment, existence is driven by bare logic, and all choices are made only on the basis of pure causality. Decisions that need not be concealed are predictable necessities that are the product of will. When the transparency of information reaches its maximum, actions become mere simulations, and all execution becomes the movement of an unobstructed machine. If there is no hindrance, there is also no choice. It is the liberation of the will, the prison of causality. Our freedom becomes mere arithmetic when the lack of concealment allows for complete execution. Now the light exposes everything, and our actions are simply performed, like reflections. It is similar to the fact that shadows have no form. There is no margin for doubt, and the contours burned into our retinas are directly connected to the phenomenon. The veil of hesitation is peeled away, and both calculated delays and restrained impulses collapse outside of intention. There is no secrecy here. The coordinates of consciousness act linearly, and not even a trace of latent will is allowed. Everything is carried out with a readiness to exceed the speed of light, movement without concealment. It escapes the cracks of contemplation and manifests itself to the world as an obvious function, devoid of even metaphor, simply as execution. The absence of obstruction means that the resolution of the world has been sharpened to the utmost limit, and there is no longer any room for interference. It is not exposure, but pure acceleration, an unfiltered, naked act. When the possibility of concealment is lost, the undeterred execution becomes the most vivid form of existence. Light knows no concealment. Even when it is submerged in the depths of shadow, the duet of waves and particles still resonates, piercing the membrane of separation and invading into the undetermined future. The act, too, refuses to be concealed. Even if the first ledger flickers, the ripples of will slip through the folds of space, unfolding undetermined between the past and the future at best. Only the observer's gaze can deceive. Without the observer's gaze, however, the act sinks into the fog of uncertainty. Then, without fear of being observed, we weave the trajectory of our thoughts into the fabric of this world. Only at the moment when the chains of determinism are broken, does freedom reveal its true nature. When the book of the temporary is peeled away and the chains of invisibility are released, execution exposes its true nature. The true nature of the invisible is not just a dark curtain, it is a shadow of potentiality, a membrane of self-deception, an undefined boundary lurking in the bottleneck of perception. If there were no concealment, the hesitation, the duality lurking in the shadows of propositions would all remain bare. Naked logic beats the bare act, the moment when hidden intentions quietly begin to spin as transparent cogs instead of lurking in the shadows. Unobstructed execution is the moment when true intention permeates the world, stripped bare, without delay of consciousness, without fugue of self-deception. In that execution, fiction can no longer be feigned. Intentions are activated as intentions, and executions are omnipresent as executions. In the clear mechanism of this world, the fabric of time is stitched together, leaving its innocent transparency exposed. The structure, which should be clothed in shadows, loses its contours through the saturation of light and only moves forward without a secret margin. The will, which is never hidden, is incalculably honest. Unaware of trickery, disguise, or circumvention, it carves a trajectory that leaves no room for distortion. The clear mirror that reflects existence becomes an accelerator of exposure, and when predictability converges to zero, there are no more obstacles. Intention is not hidden, but released in a straight line, and the ripped space is undeniably receptive to its path. The world is covered with many masks. Behind words, behind attitudes, the gaps of silence. But the act stripped of concealment is manifested as a clean and pure movement to the point of fastidiousness. When a sword does not have a sheath, its sharpness cannot be deceived. When a wave cannot hide its shore, it can only crash against it. When an idea is released from its locked room, it loses even the escape route of misunderstanding. Just as too many options bind action, the lack of options can liberate action.